Hey guys, it's postboxpat. Welcome back to my new video, and today we're actually going to be talking about the cube theory with the dimensions. So this has actually been sent to me by many people, and it's something I've always wanted to mention in a video. And today we're going to be going into that theory, talking about the idea of worlds collide and showing you guys different dimensions of Fortnite. So the cube itself is nearing Loot Lake, and possibly we'll probably get to Loot Lake by Saturday, and we'll have some sort of event in game, a little bit like the Rocket event. But maybe not as big as the Rocket event. It might be a little bit of a smaller event because obviously a rocket is huge, whereas a cube isn't as entertaining as a rocket launching. But we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Fortnite haven't announced anything recently. They've just been announcing small things. We'll definitely expect this event to be at the weekend or the following weekend after, just because Fortnite themselves want to have that extra player base when the event's happening and get that kind of huge speculation around it and stuff like that. So I want to talk about the theory regarding the cube and the different dimensions because it's something interesting and it's something I really like the idea of. So Fortnite itself for season 6 is obviously going to get a bunch of new map locations or maybe an entirely new map. Now we're going to rule out the idea of an entirely new map in this video because we're going to be talking about different dimensions on this map. So how exactly is that going to work? Well, Fortnite Season 6 will obviously add in a bunch of new locations. We can predict these new locations will take over locations which aren't too popular. For example, this section of Wailing Woods that took a big cut from the actual cube itself could actually gain a new location here. And we could also gain a new location at Tomato Temple or around it, around this side. A few other locations that we could see disappearing for this dimension type thing is Lazy Links, and then we'll go over some more later on in this video. But for now, they're just the two locations I want to focus on to give you guys a brief explanation, because these two will work really well. So Lazy and Wailing Woods, how would this work? Well, generally, dimensions. So a dimension is a different time in time, so a different moment in time, whatever you want to call it. And basically you travel through each dimension and you have different eras and places like that. So you could have season 1 as an era, season 2 as an era, season 3 as an era, season 4 as an era, season 5 as an era, and even season 6 where the map could half near enough be destroyed with loads of new locations. So the idea of dimensions may not be all of them. It may just be 3 different dimensions. You'd have the OG Fortnite, which would have very few locations. So for example, Lazy itself would be Anarchy Acres, Risky wouldn't exist, Wailing Woods would be very plain, Tomato Town would be back, Retail Row would still be here, and a few other locations would still be in it. There'd be no crater. It would just be the OG Fortnite map, and that could be Dimension 1. Now, Dimension 2 could be the current state the map is in, or maybe a little bit back in time before Lazy Links was here, or it could even be halfway through Lazy Links was being built, so we could even see Anarchy Acres being knocked down and Lazy Links being built. Now, that would be really awesome, and we could also see that in other sections of the map, which would be really cool. It could be the dimension where, for example, we had the Hot Brox, and I think something like that would rock this season really well. So I can't wait for something like that, hopefully, to appear with different dimensions. This may not be a season 6 thing, it could be a future season, but it would work really well. Now, coming up to the next part of the dimension, that would be the current map changes. So generally, Fortnite have got a bunch of space and a bunch of time to add this in. Simply, they need to put in different map changes at different locations to add these dimensions in. Now, generally, coming from a Fortnite point of view, I believe this is a good chance of, a very good chance of happening in season 6. The cube itself has been an interesting object, and it's allowed us to gain these kind of warping puddles, I was going to say then. These warping sections that are kind of like a puddle, I guess. It's just like a little section of the map which has kind of been turned into a purple puddle, which you can kind of have low gravity in. It's absolutely crazy. So this cube itself has got to have something to do with different dimensions and stuff like that. We actually had the rocket go through a portal, and we don't know where it went. And the cube itself just appeared from that portal and maybe has something to do with us teleporting back in time to different maps. The cool thing about it is Fortnite could actually add in a lava section and all this stuff in this Dimension 3 in Season 6, and the previous dimensions are there. Now, if you're generally playing a game, you're probably wondering, Pat, how on earth do I jump into the Fortnite game a different dimension, if you get what I mean, rather than just going into the same map over and over? Well, simply, you jump in from the sky, and at the start of the game, it would load in one of 3 maps. So you could either get Dimension 1, Dimension 2, or Dimension 3, and Tilted could even maybe be disappeared in Dimension 1. So technically, Tilted Towers has been removed, but it hasn't. Now, the idea of dimensions would be really awesome generally, because that would allow people to play on different versions of the map, or even a dimension which kind of moves in real time. So every single update, they change each 3 dimensions. So they have 3 maps to work on, and they're just the same map, but just different locations and stuff. So every single week, there's different locations in each dimension, and we can check them out and we can go to different locations, giving you guys a different feel for every single map, which would be pretty cool. And I think that would be awesome because it's the same map. Now, this is going to sound weird, but I actually had a dream one day that was just crazy. It was actually one of them dreams where you wake up in the morning and then fall back to sleep. And it was the idea of the Fortnite map. This is just something that's never going to happen, but it was cool. The idea of the Fortnite map being completely covered in gravel and slowly lowering down into the sea and kind of flattening it all off with caves and stuff. With like, not exactly huge cave systems, just like, for example, Tilted Towers was down there, and all these mountains were at the height I'm flying at right now, leading us to have maybe a few locations on the map that are dig down deep, basically. It was like huge terrains. If you remember that game mode in Minecraft, Mine mode, I was about to say them. If you remember that game mode in Minecraft, where it's like huge terrains and stuff like that, where you can like extend the terrain to be extreme. That's basically what it was. It was really cool. And there was also a bunch of new locations on top of the surface that has been like flooded. So imagine the height I'm at now being like flooded with a bit lower actually, probably about this height, flooded with gravel. And then on the top of the surface of that, it was like pretty cool because there was like other locations as well. Again, that's something that's never going to happen. I just thought I'd mention it in this video because it was a crazy dream I had, and it was just pretty funny. May as well share it with you guys because it's a Fortnite dream. Don't usually get them very often, but it happened. I was just thinking in the morning about new maps and stuff like that, and it came to me. So it's a cool one. There's nothing really that's probably going to happen or not, but just imagine it being a bit like Dusty. You know how Dusty's got like its crater and stuff. That's the idea of it for like Tilted Towers and other locations around the map, and then new locations on top of the little crust running across the world. Anyway, let's not talk about that too much. That potentially could be a dimension, and that's what led me to kind of hint towards this dimension theory for Season 6. Now, technically, I could be completely wrong with this, and none of this could actually happen, but generally, I love talking about these theories and stuff, and you guys love them. Now, the interesting thing about these theories is I'd love you guys to leave a comment down below telling me what you think of the actual season itself, and where do you think Season 6 is going to be going if you're watching this maybe in Season 6. Because obviously I'm going to keep changing the title of this video to Season 7, Season 8. So the idea of the dimension stuff will get out there for you guys, hopefully. But what do you guys think for the future of Season 6, or whatever season you're watching this in? Like, what do you think you're going to get within Fortnite itself for the storyline, like relating to the cube and where else it's going to go in the future? Like, give me some theories. What do you think about new maps and new locations, and maybe locations that could get wiped in the future? We generally look at the map and think to ourselves, yeah, this map's pretty cool. There's a bunch of locations I'd love to see disappear, but we don't know exactly which ones are going to get picked. I look at the map and think this space here in between Salty and Tilted is a clear location for new stuff to be added. Remove Dusty and remove maybe Salty, and you could have a new location right here. Shifty, Shafts, again, is a location that I think personally isn't really required. So generally, again, that could be changed and revamped. We could see a few other locations getting a revamp as well, which would be absolutely awesome. I couldn't really name too many of them for you guys because I just don't know all the locations off by heart at the top of my head. But, you know, some of these when I mean locations, I mean like the side locations. I don't know the nicknames for them. So, for example, here, the petrol station, I don't know what the exact name is for that location, or Truckee Oasis, whatever it's called. And some of the other locations, I don't know the exact name. But potentially, some of them should be changed. We've got Paradise Palms itself, and we could see this completely being wiped for Season 6. Now, what's really interesting is we've got a sandy theme and a grass theme. We don't have a snowy theme on the map other than at the Viking Island. Now, that clearly was a test to see how snow would run in the map for the future of Fortnite. Now, predicting when Season 6 will end, which will lead into Season 7, we could potentially see some map changes relating to the Christmas update, and we could see a snowy section of Fortnite be added in. If you're going to pick a location for that snowy section, where would I say? Well, generally, if I could pick, I would say the snowy section would probably be where we are currently located, covering this entire side and removing, I've forgotten what it's called. Snobby Shores, is it? It is Snobby Shores, I got it. I always get Snobby, Shifty, all the ones with S's, I always get them mixed up. Salty, Snobby, Shifty, every single time. But, you know, generally, that is where I think the location would probably be for a Christmas snowy theme area for Season 7. But we don't want to get too deep into Season 7. We want to talk a little bit about these dimensions again. Well, the dimensions generally could work in all different eras as well. We could even go into futuristic style Fortnite gameplay, which would be absolutely awesome. A few OG monuments for you guys, which the old players will remember, or the Season 4 players, was the Hogwarts place around here where I'm flying around. And we also had the brand new football stadium, which didn't last long at all. It was just for the FIFA World Cup. and it did get removed, unfortunately. But an awesome location, which was located here as well, where the Harry Potter place was. So it's pretty awesome to see them come and go. I do like it when Fortnite do that, exclusive events. And two other rip things which no one really mentions. Do you guys remember the crab at Moisty Mire and the fox over at Wailing Woods? Well, they've completely been wiped. I was surprised that the llama still stands over Junk Junction, but the actual fox itself at Wailing Woods has been completely removed, and I was really surprised for that. I didn't actually notice that until late into season 6, or season 5, sorry, late into season 5, and I just thought, hold on a minute, where's the fox gone? And it's completely been removed, so crazy, and it was just located here, and it was an awesome location to go to, but it actually got removed from the game, and clearly the reason for that was the challenge actually got taken out later on, and also we don't have Moisty Mire, so the crab doesn't remain there anymore. But it simply could rebuild the crab somewhere else. There's no harm in putting the crab maybe on a hill or something, or over there by Flush Factory, and they could have kept them all. But I don't know. It's Fortnite's opinion on this sort of stuff. I don't know what they want to do with these sort of like little changes there and then. It's really up to them. But if you have made it all the way to the end of this video, guys, do remember to comment down below Shifty Shafts Point 2, because that's what I think, or version 2. Shifty Shafts version 2, comment that down below, and I will know you guys have made it to the end of this video. Would be awesome to see what you guys think about Shifty Shafts being removed. I feel like that's probably the most likely location to get taken out of the game. It just doesn't get much population at all. There's also a bunch of locations that can go along with that as well. But that's what I think. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think of the dimension theory. And once again, this is postboxpat signing out.